Hi, everybody. We've got a great segment to share on sending great cards. I'll be talking with Donna Sylvester about how to send great cards and how to be the most effective in your send out card account. Hope you enjoy watching. And if you have any questions, please always feel free to reach out. Happy to help.
So Cody Bateman is the founder of SendOutCards, and his story with SendOutCards started back in the 80s when he had graduated from college. He lived in Utah, had a wife and I think like a 1.5-year-old toddler, and had gotten his first job at an ad agency in New York City. So they were all loaded in the car, ready to head out across country to New York City. And Cody was, you know how it is when you graduate from college, you got your first job, he's anxious to go. And as he was getting ready to get into the car, he saw his brother Chris across the field moving some cars around. And he had the thought, he calls it a prompting, but he had the thought that he should go over, give his brother a hug, and tell him he loved him. And being the young man that he was and being in a hurry, he didn't do that. He just waved at Chris, and Chris waved back, and off Cody went across the country with his wife and child. And about 4 months later, he was all settled into New York. He got a phone call in the middle of the night. And you guys all know that when it comes in the middle of the night, it's not a good thing. And his brother Chris had been killed in an industrial accident. And he was just immediately devastated at the fact that he had not paid attention to that inner voice in him that said, go give your brother a hug and tell him you love him. And he'd never have a chance to do that again. And so in those days that followed Chris's death, he vowed that he would commit his life to making it easier for people to respond to those promptings, to reach out in kindness. When somebody comes to our attention, somebody comes to our mind, we're throughout the day, somebody we interact with needs some encouragement. So literally, I personally can't envision this, but literally Cody Bateman's vision is to heal the world by making it easier for people to be kind to each other. And being kind to each other in his world is sending cards that say, love you, miss you, excited for you, I'm sad for you, but staying connected in that way and paying attention to your promptings, which is a new word for me when I started with SendOutCards. I know intuition, I know gut hunches, but promptings was a new word for me, and it just kind of encompasses all of those thoughts, ideas, hunches, notions that you might reach out to someone. Maybe you wake up in the morning thinking about somebody. And in my world, and I think in Sylvia's world too, that's kind of like a divine message that says, hey, Donna, you need to reach out to whoever it is I wake up with on my mind. And sometimes I'll wake up with that prompting and ignore it because I'm busy, and it's there for 2 or 3 days. And finally on the third day, I say, okay, Donna, send a card. You got it? Hear me? Send a card. And you will be amazed that sometimes you'll send a card, you really have no idea why that person was so strong on your heart. And it will arrive at them, it'll arrive to their mailbox at the exact right time to completely change their day. And so that's Cody Bateman's notion of promptings. And that's really what he wants us to do with Send Out Cards, is reach out on a daily basis and let people know we're thinking about them.
So gratitude practice is being intentionally outwardly focused. And so for me, that means same thing that you were talking about with promptings. When I see something, I act on it. But I let a lot of other things prompt me too. I created this little guide that I have that is a, sorry, I'm looking for it. I thought I had it right here. It is a gratitude guide that gives you all kinds of promptings for when to send. We even have like 100 days of gratitude we're working on right now, so that we're intentionally being outwardly focused. So some of my things that I call triggers, I'm like, pay attention to the triggers in your life, whether that's somebody is getting married, someone's lost a pet, someone is going through something, reaching out in kindness with a call or a card, and everybody posts on Facebook. So this idea of sending something to them is going to really make you stand out. Larry talks about in the book Ninja Selling about building your referrals with people and your relationships with people. and they know you, like you, trust you, and you're in flow with them. So I love this send out cards because I feel like it's being in flow with them. It's helping you to be in flow with them. So I always, whenever I see something on Facebook, I always make the time to send something to them. And I do want to stress the fact of making time, because I know all of us are busy. And so part of my gratitude practice is scheduling time for this specifically. So whether that's when I wake up or before I go to bed, I have intentional time to do this, because otherwise, frankly, it doesn't get done. We do have some other tools like the app, and Donna's going to show that a little bit later in terms of making things even more efficient when we have that thought. But when we start acting on those promptings, it sure is cool. So I just had someone jump on, and I just want to make sure everything's muted here.
Well, while you grab that person, I want to add to what Sylvia just said. I think you can see it from what she does. I'm not as intentional about setting a block of time, but I have a goal that every day I send 3. And if it's 11 o'clock at night and I haven't sent my 3 cards, I go send the 3 cards. And what I want you to think is, I don't want you to think that you only send cards to your clients or to your prospects. You could tell by what Sylvia said that she sends cards to anybody, whoever comes to her attention, whoever pops up on her Facebook. And especially for those of you in businesses where people need to know about you in order to refer you, it's just a very gentle way to market. So your card may arrive at their door just as they're thinking, you know what, my next door neighbor just called me that she needs whatever service it is you provide. So think very broadly about who you want to send cards to.
Yeah, and I love that too, Donna, that you're talking about. It doesn't have to be just blocking time. That is one of the ways that I do it. But if you have in your mind, I'm going to send 3 cards a day, or I'm going to do this once a day for however long, and you just have that intentionality behind it of, and the triggers for your business. If someone goes under contract, or someone fills that application for a loan, or like whatever the business is, if there are milestones within your business, those are perfect triggers for making sure that you're having something sent out. So I love that. So then the question then becomes, okay, this happens, or I think of someone, how do I send a card to them? So this would probably be a great segue into me sharing my screen and showing you how we do that. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So what I love about Send Out Cards is it's got hundreds and hundreds of cards already in the system. For, you can see here on our home screen, holidays, thank yous, well wishes. You can build your own completely from scratch. There's a category for love and celebrations and birthdays and just because. And so it has everything you need. I'm always prone to say it's like having Hallmark in your back pocket, because I really feel that way. Donna, would you say that as well?
I would agree. Sometimes, I mean, there are just thousands of cards out there, and I have my favorites, and you can mark them as a favorite to make them easy to find, and I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely,
and they're adding new cards all the time. So a lot of times I open it up and I'll see 3 or 4 new cards that have been added since the last. So we do have a design division that is just adding new cards all the time.
It is. So when someone comes to your mind and you want to send something, we're just going to kind of walk through it so that you can see a few things. We're going to also share little tips and tricks because we wanted to promise to do that as well. So I'm just going to go in here to this thank you section. So because we can, whether it's business or personal, we always have a reason to say thank you. And you can see as I'm kind of scrolling through here, there's lots to choose from. And when you do see something as a favorite, you can literally fill in this little circle and it will, or the heart, and it will show up in your favorites category. So you can see here that there's lots to choose from. Sometimes I'll send a heart or something, or thank you, or I'm thinking of you, or thanks, like you can see, thanks for being amazing. So let's say that we're going to send this many thanks for all that you do. What's great about these cards is that you can see that it shows up with color, but when we see this little radio button here, we can also see the different colors that that card shows up in as well. So that's kind of a cool little thing to notice. I apologize. Someone wants to get in and they're not here or able to get in, it looks like. Donna, there's no way that you can take that or
I'm
see
not
that
aware that
in
I
the
can.
app. Okay. Well, all right. I'm going to keep going then. So on this card, it shows me it's 2-panel standard, but there's different options for a flat card, a 3-panel card, an 8x11. And there's even paper upgrades for satin and pearl, but in this case, we'll leave it a 2-panel standard. And I'm going to go ahead and hit next. So again, my radio button shows up here. I can change those colors if I want to, or I can leave them the same. One of the little tips that I love is this little icon here, and this is called Color Picker Eyedropper. And this is such a cool little tool. If I click on it and I hover over any one of the colors on the card, I can grab that color and make the inside match it, exactly on the outside. So there's lots of different ways we can use this tool, but I'll show you here. So when I open up the card now, I have the ability to change the background. I'm hitting background and more color and literally just putting in that color number into the card, and now you can see the background of this card is being changed to that color that I just put in. Just taking me a second to do that. And so some of the other cool things about this system is, in addition to the color there, I'm able to add to this card whatever I would like to add. So this is called a layout icon or layout button. And once I choose that one, I have so many different options here for all photo or all text or a combination of the both. And so in this particular card, I might go ahead and just choose the all photo. And then here, I'm gonna choose the camera, and you can see that my picture panel came up. And so these are people that I know and that I've just uploaded, and you can upload pictures from anywhere. So if I wanted to put a picture in there, I can go ahead and put a picture in there and celebrate that person. Thank you for all you do for me. And I've got the picture in, and now I'm going to go ahead on this side and hit the pencil. And so this is just like Word. It's got font and color, so I can go ahead and type my message. I appreciate you, whatever your sentiment is, I love you, I'm thankful for you, I appreciate your business, whatever that message is. It's great. You'll find that as you start to use this, you'll find fonts that you like, and I'm just kind of showing you. You'll find fonts that you like. You'll find color styles that you like, because it'll just be more personal to you. And then also, after I put my message in my card, then I can go ahead and add my signature. So I would put my signature in there. And if you didn't have a signature, you could go ahead and just spell out your name. Oh. So that would be the alternative if you didn't have your signatures programmed in there.
I always recommend to people that don't get their signatures that they put their signature in some font other than what they type their message in. Find one you like. We have crazy ones and scripted ones and bold ones. And so pick one you like and use that for your signature. It makes it just look a little bit more like you signed it.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great piece of advice. I think that it does look more like a signature, even though it's not exactly that. So once you get your card,
Sylvia,
yes.
You're getting a question to ask to show again how you add a signature.
Okay.
I think that person might be asking how you get your signatures done.
Okay, well, I will answer both of those, and thanks for watching that chat. I appreciate it. So in terms of where did I go to get that, there is at the bottom of my panel here that says insert signature, and there's a drop down arrow. And so I'm able to drop that arrow down, and let me move this up to see if that shows you better. So I actually have 4 signatures programmed into my system. I've got mine, my husband's, I have mine and his, and then I have my first name and last name. So depending on what I'm sending, I might want to have it from both of us, or one of us. So I love having those different choices. And so as far as how I got them in there, SendOutCards has a form that we fill out, and literally just sign that and send it to them, and they'll program it into our account. So it makes it really nice to be able to have that.
Takes about 2 weeks to get that done. So once you submit the form, it's about 2 weeks for them to create the signature and load it into your account.
Excuse me one moment. I'm going to see if I can shut my window.
So, so to get your signatures done, you can get 4 signatures for $25. And it's once you get them, you got them forever. Or if you want your handwriting font and your signatures, it's $49, and you get, the form allows you to create your personal handwriting font and 4 signatures. And again, once you get them, they're yours forever.
Thank you for that, Donna. So yeah, and so once you get the card just like you want it, you've got your message in there, you've got your signatures in there, then we move over to the back panel. This is one of the things I love about this, and I was sharing with you, Donna sent me a card, and this is where I recognized that she had her own branding on this card. And so I was like, oh my gosh, not only did she put something in the card that was important to me, but on the back, she had her own branding. I thought it was marvelous. And I was like, sign me up right away. So this is my branding for Serenitys Way. However, we can also change that. So if I go to my layout button here, I have existing back panels that are in here. So if I'm sending something out on behalf of our home inspection company, then I have my husband's information on here. If I'm sending something out for a birthday, I can have a happy birthday message. Whenever I send out a sympathy card, I have a little dove back here that says you're in our thoughts and prayers. And what I love about this system is that it's super, super flexible and easy. And once you get dialed into using this, it really only takes a couple of minutes to send out a card that's completely customized with this type of branding and back panel and all of that. So I'm actually gonna stop here and show you a couple of things just so you can see how easy and flexible it is. So this little dove, let's say that you were sending out a sympathy card, you got your card the way you wanted it, and you wanted to say something just for that person. You could just go into your system and hit create a new back panel. I have lots of different options on my back panels, and I'm gonna show you a couple things here. So this back panel, you can see here it says return address and recipient address. Now these are not links that we would type into. What this will do is actually pull from our contact record the names and addresses, and they'll be printed on the back of our cards. And some people love that and some people don't. So the company gives us options with and without it. So you'll see on the left column that recipient address and to and from address show up, and the card right next to it is the same back panel but without it. So good to know that. Donna, do you ever use the link there?
You know, I always use the return address and recipient because I like people to be able to throw the envelope away and still remember that it came from me and what my address is, especially with holiday cards. So I always use the option that has those 2 addresses on it.
Okay. And I find that for me, I use it for the holiday card, but just in everyday use, I don't use it. I love the flexibility of the system that we can do what feels good for us. So I'm going to choose this back panel that doesn't have it and just show you how quickly and easily we can create a custom back panel. If I choose this photo icon, I've got this little dove image here. And this could be any image, because literally you can put whatever you want on the back. This could be your custom branding. And like I said, if this was a sympathy card, we can make it just for that. So I like this little dove. And then what I like to do also is I go to the background and I change the background to black. And then with my pencil, I change the color that I'm writing with to white. And I'm a little goo-goo over this font called Wendy. I use it like all the time. And so this is where I would say, sorry for your loss, or whatever your message is. And so what's great about this is if I think I would use this again, I just go over here to the save layout button and I click save, and that's going to save this back panel into my existing back panel. So I have it for next time if I want to do that.
So will you show them again where you got the white for the text?
Sure, I'm happy to. So
Not
in this
so obvious, I
color,
think.
in the colors, you can see that there's black, and right on the left side of black, it's actually it would be a white circle if it had an outline around it. But it doesn't have an outline, so that spot is where the white text is at. So, but super, super easy to do to make this back panel. And I'll show you a couple more just so you can see how easy it is. Oftentimes I'll send like a birthday, and I might want to say something special about the birthday. I could go to that same layout and I could put a cupcake in there. And if I wanted to get, you know, a little more fancy, or make things match a little more, I could use that same color picker I showed you earlier and grab that color of pink and copy that, and then go to my background, tell the system I want to put in my own color, and paste that number in. And now the back panel is completely that pink color. And I can, you know, go to more colors and choose a color that's here if I want. And
You are a master at this. I'm
put
telling
my
you what.
message in. I think it's one of those things. I love the system. I mean, I love sending these cards. I've gotten so much feedback, positive feedback, and all the people that I work with get positive feedback that I just appreciate using it. And I think I've just become proficient at it. And I think it's with anything. Like, think about the first contract you wrote, or whatever business you're in. The first time you did it, took you longer, but then when you commit to doing that thing, whatever it is, you become proficient. And so that's just an example of how quick and easy that can be to personalize it. And you can put the person's name on the back if you want. And I imagine, Donna, you use the name link way more than I do, but whether this was the front or the back, if you put that first name link in there, it would say happy birthday so-and-so, whoever that is.
Right, right.
So
I
that's
also want to say, both the Dove back panel and this pink back panel are just stunning back panels in my mind. And, you know, we've got people on the line that have used it for a while. Like, I've used it for 10 years. And I just can be honest, I never thought to color the whole back panel. I just never thought to do it. So there's no user manual for send out cards. We learn it from just talking to each other about what we do with cards. And so even though I've been doing this for a long time, I've gotten several ideas from Sylvia, both this morning's session and tonight.
Well, I'm glad that this is helpful for everybody. And so one more quick back panel that I'll show you, because sometimes I like to make what I would call a keepsake card. And I'm going to show you some examples of what I consider a keepsake card. But if I wanted to put something totally custom on there again, I'll use this one here this time. I had sent an anniversary card to someone just here recently, and I saw these pictures on the back. So I was celebrating his anniversary on the card, but on the back, I put pictures with him and his son, and then down here just typed in "look what love can do" or something to that effect. And just, this is going to be a card that he'll never want to throw that away, right? That's going to be in the treasure box with all the other important mementos, because it's just so personal. And, you know, and then of course, like I showed you before, we have our custom branding, or our work. And so it can be, some of this stuff I do outside of the system and import it as an image. And so you can see here that you can make it as simple or as complex as you'd like to. So I love that about it as well. So anything else, Donna, that you can think of before I move on to sending this card?
No, I think that I don't have anything else to add.
Okay, so now when it's time for me, I got the card exactly as I wanted it, and now it's time for me to send my card. I'm gonna go ahead and hit next. And once this comes up, I have several things that I can do here with my thank you. I can make sure that everything looks good. So there's this final kind of edit screen here just to make sure. And if it's not exactly what I want, I can edit it and go back and change it again. If I want to add a gift, I love the gift store. This is great for closing gifts and whatever else I might need. I can go ahead and add all my gifts in there. Even gift cards, so Starbucks and Amazon, and there's Target and different things in here as well. So really great to do that. I would simply just choose my card, hit add a gift, and that's going to be sent out. Those brownies are going to be sent out with my card. If I don't want it, then I just take it off. What I love here too is the return address. It's always going to default to my address. But if I'm sending something that maybe I don't want to highlight in my business, maybe I want to add Steve, my husband, I can do that. I can say it's from Steve and Sylvia and take off my business and save that. And so for this card, it's going to be just the way I edit it. So that's nice as well. And then when it's time to add who it's going to, I go ahead and just hit add. I can choose them from all of the people that are in my database already here, or if they're not in there, I'm just going to hit add new address and add them in. And so that's going to give me the opportunity to do that. So I just choose my person, I hit done, and then the card, I hit ready to send, and then this card is going to be sent to our facility in Utah, where tomorrow morning they will print, ship, and print stuff and ship everything that was ordered today. So love the ease of that so much. So I'm going to go through here real quick, and I'm going to show you some examples of what I would consider cards that were like cards that would I have a prompting when I have the idea that I want to send something out, when I see a holiday, when I see an anniversary or a pet loss. These are the cards that I send out, and I keep them in my custom section so that I can get to them and send them out very quickly and efficiently. So just a couple examples. Whenever I see an anniversary, I'll send cards like this. And if I wanted to send this now because I saw a picture, I could just tell the system I want to send this card and then just switch the pictures out and send it. So real love stories never have an ending. I have the person's photo in there with a little saying in there about anniversaries, and on the back their names and the year and a little message on the back. So again, something like that, they're just not going to throw away a keepsake card like that. Saying thank you in your business. Whenever I see an animal that has passed, one of my triggers is to always send a sympathy card for that. And so this is an example of that. This card here talks about the loss of a dog, and then I put the animal in there, and then I also have my sentiments as to how I'm thinking of them, and then you can see here's where I would use that dove on the back panel. So Donna, I know that you were going to show some things as well in terms of some of the things that you do. Is there anything else that you would like me to cover on this side?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
You create some stunning cards, that's for sure.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And I think one of the things that's great about Donna and I, we're committed not only to using the system ourselves, but to helping you use it. So like if there's something that you have a question about, or you're like, I want to know if I can do this or that, or I have an idea for these different things, we're a resource for you. We're always here, and we're going to help you as much as we can to do whatever you want to do with the system. So, all right. Well, I'm going to pass the baton back to you, Miss Donna.
Okay. So if you'll stop sharing your screen, I'll share mine. I'm going to show
Okay.
you a couple of things. A little different from what Sylvia's been talking about. So in order to make things go faster for us and move through this, I went ahead and got a card started. So this weekend was Mother's Day, and I sent out quite a few Mother's Day cards in advance of the day, but what's beautiful is all the moms that are posting pictures of them with their families on Facebook on Mother's Day. So this is my friend Ruben, who I was stationed with in 1978. And at that time, Malia was just a little twinkle in her eye. And Malia's grown into quite a beautiful mom herself. So I want to show you a couple of things. I grabbed this picture from Ruben's Facebook page, and you can add text to the front of your card. So you can only do that on a build your own card on the front panel. And right over to the left where it says text box, when I clicked on that text box, it gave me the opportunity to put this message in. And now when I click in that box, I can move it around wherever I want to put it on the front of the card. And I can, from this bottom corner, I can make the box larger if I want to, or smaller. So I often will put text box on the front of the card. In fact, for birthday cards and the Mother's Day card I did this year, I put Happy Mother's Day, and I went down and grabbed insert first name like Sylvia showed you, and I put Happy Mother's Day 2020, and the person that receives the card, their name will be on the front of the card. So I use this text box on the front of the card a lot. The other thing that I do that goes along with what Sylvia talked about in terms of remembering people, uses a tool which called a snipping tool. Now, some of you may be familiar with that and some of you may not, but when you want, if you're not familiar with it, if you go to your start menu to the find option and you start typing in snipping, there it is. It's a free tool from Microsoft. And if you right click on it, mine says unpin from the taskbar because I've already got it there, but yours will probably say pin to the taskbar. And it looks like this right here. So what I want to do is, often I will see a post on Facebook. In this case, it's about Malia posting about her mom. It could be a mom posting about her child who's graduating from high school. It could be the 10-year birthday. It could be a 25th anniversary. People post some amazing things, and as soon as they post it, almost it drops down in the feed and it's gone away. So what I do is I use the snipping tool to create a snip of that post. So I just go on and I select what I want to put in the card. And now again, to make this go faster, I've already saved it, but you can go to File, Save As, and it will save it as a PNG file. And so now I'm going to go back to Send Out Cards, and I'm going to go grab that post and put it on the inside of the card. I've already uploaded it here, and you almost always have to shrink the size of the post. They're almost always too large. So I get it in there and I shrink it, make it as large as I can so that it's still readable. So now I've got that post in there, and I've added a caption under there. What I think I might have testament spelled wrong. So I added a caption in there on this card for Ruben. So that's something that I do regularly. Do you copy posts like that, Sylvia?
I do sometimes. If I see something that's on Facebook that I am kind of like, oh my gosh, that's amazing what that person shared or said, I will put that in there as well. What I love about it is it's got the date on it. So May 10th at 8:35 is when this conversation took place, and this, could be a card that's found several years from now when somebody looks back and says, wow, I remember that time, that was amazing. So I think it's pretty cool to be able to look back and see that on there.
One of the other things I do with it, if it's a mom posting, or a mom or a dad posting something about a child, like maybe it's their 10th birthday, and they post this beautiful thing about the child, I'll put the picture of the child on the front of the card, put what mom or dad has posted about the kid on the inside of the card, and put a real quick note that just says, hey, keep up the good work. Your mom's so proud of you. And I'll send it to the child. Kids love to get these cards. They love them. And they kids don't often get cards. So to get a card with their picture on the front, and then on the back of the card, typically what I'll do is put a picture of the parents on the back of the card. So the child has a card with their picture on it, what the parent has said about them, and then on the back it'll have a picture of their parents. The last thing I want to show you while we're on the computer is, and I need to get a fresh card to do this, so I'm just going to choose this Not All Heroes Wear Capes and move through to show you how to span an image on the inside of a card. I think this makes a stunning card when you do this. So now I've got an open card, and you can do this with a portrait card like this, or with a landscape card that opens from top to bottom. So I'm going to go over to background, and this time, instead of choosing a color, I'm going to come down to background image and choose add image. So I click on add image, and I just go pick an image, and it puts it across the entire inside of the card, which again makes a really stunning card if you're recognizing something notable. And you see that you can still put a message on the inside, over the top of this picture. So right here, if I click on this and I start typing, I'm going to make that white so I can see it. I start typing. Well, I know it's there. There it is. Now, once I've got my message in there, I can't move it around quite as freely as the one on the front. But if I want to move this up, I leave the cursor behind the message and click my return key, and it moves the message up. Or if I want to move it down so that it's across Malia's shirt, I put the cursor in front of the message and just use my return key until I get it down where I want it. So you can still have at least something on the inside of a card about that. Anything that you would add to that, Sylvia? Do you span images very often?
If I see something like a group that I really want to highlight, sometimes family photos are really nice if there's a lot of people in the photo. I will put that on the inside. So that's pretty cool to be able to do that.
So the last thing we were going to talk about is how do you get addresses? So what's the #1 way you get addresses, Sylvia?
I have been using Facebook Messenger. What I have found on the Facebook Messenger is when I see a picture or I want to celebrate someone in some way, I actually say that, like, oh my gosh, congratulations on whatever it is, or I'm touched by whatever it is you shared, because I am authentically. And then I say, I would love to send you a keepsake card if you would be willing to text me your mailing address. And I always use the term mailing address because my intention is to mail something to them. And I have never gotten any pushback from that. It's been really easy for me to get an address from someone. And I love it because I'm reconnecting. I've made an intention to reconnect with people that maybe, you know, I've known for a long time, but I want to be able to reconnect. And this is such a great way to start that conversation.
So I agree. That's my #1 way to get it, is to just ask them. And people are even people I don't know, if I see something on Facebook and send them a message, I've never had anybody refuse to give me an address. The other way that you can do it if you're new is send out a blast email, and you can say to people, I'm opening a new CRM and updating my records. Could I have your preferred mailing address? Or you could say, the holidays are coming up, I'm getting ready. May I have your mailing address? And of course, there are some people that won't send it. They just don't answer the email. Maybe they didn't even see the email, but you'll get a lot of addresses that way. And so that's another very common way to get addresses that you need for your database.
Yeah, I would just add to that too. If you don't have 100 or 200 people to call and you're able to open up a telephone conversation with those. Some of you may know the term Ford questions, family, occupation, relationships and dreams, like asking them questions about what's going on in their life. That's such a good segue into also asking for their address as well. So reconnection is great for that, for sure.
So we're at about 7:45. Do you think we have time to show them how to use the mobile app?
I think it would be great if you don't mind sharing your mobile app. I think one of the things that we talked about early on in this conversation is, you might be not have a specific time to send a card to someone. However, you may have your phone with you and someone crosses your mind and you might be in between meetings. You can literally take your phone and send a card from your phone in just a couple of, like a minute or two. And so it's really great for you to know that you can do that.
So Sylvia and I both have a little bit different practice. She really loves the computer. And I would say probably 60 or 70% of the cards I send from my phone, because it is so easy to grab a picture from Facebook and put it into my photo gallery. And in fact, that's one of the ways that I remember who I want to send a card to is I'll go to Facebook in the morning and again in the evening, and all I'm doing is looking for pictures, funny pictures, serious pictures, whatever. And then when I have time to send a card, I'll open my photo gallery and think, oh yeah, I wanted to send this person that posted this dog, Eileen, is fostering this dog, which I think he's got the most interesting expression. So I sent Eileen a card yesterday to say, thanks for fostering this dog. And then once I've sent the card, most typically I will delete the picture, and that way I know that I've taken care of it. So what I'm going to do tonight in order to show you how fast this is probably takes me about under 2 minutes to send a card from the phone. So I'm going to go and open the SendOutCards app, which looks like this. Now, if you have an Android phone, the app works on the Android phone. The navigation is going to look a little different than my iPhone, but it works just the same. So I'm going to touch that and open it. And inside the app, we have thousands of cards. All the same cards that are on the computer are right here inside the app. So if you know that you need to send a get well card, they're in here. In this case, I'm going to do a memory card for Ruben along the same lines that Sylvia talked about. So I'm going to do a build your own. And I'm going to choose this vertical format right here. So I just touch that. And down at the bottom, it lets me choose, do I want to do flat card, 2-panel, 3-panel, postcard, or 8x10. So I could use any format. I'm going to leave this as a 2-panel card and say create. And once I say create, it's going to let me go get a photo. Cloud photos are pictures I've already uploaded to SendOutCards. This is my photo gallery, or I could take a picture. I'm going to go to my photo gallery. And I'm going to grab that picture of Ruben and her daughter and put it on the front of the card. Move it over a little bit. Now, when I'm on the phone, I can't add text to the front of it. So I'm going to say save. And then I'm going to go to the inside of the card. And this little square down in the bottom right corner allows me to pick a layout. So I'm going to touch that. And I'm going to use this layout right here so I can add a bunch of pictures in here for her. So I'm going to tap each one and go grab a picture for it. And so this is just kind of a compilation of pictures that she posted. I think that's Malia and her daughter. I don't really know Malia very well. She wasn't really around when Ruben and I were stationed together. I'm thinking that this is Ruben and her grandkids. And you can see how fast this goes. I mean, you can create a really amazing card in a fairly short amount of time on your phone. And probably most people wouldn't imagine that you had created it on your phone. Actually, that's not the picture I want. I wanted to grab this one of Malia, and I'm thinking that that's her son. So now I've got my pictures in there. I can go up to the top and say save. And I want to put some color back there. So I touch that little paint palette, and my color's purple. So I could put purple, or she had pink in her blouse on the front. So, you know, I can put pink in there. And I'm going to go over to the right flap, which is where I typically put my message. And this is my favorite part of using the phone. I'm going to voice dictate this message. Now, I've already sent this card to Ruben, so I'm doing this more as a demonstration. So I'm not going to do as long of a message as I might normally. I just want to show you how it works. So I'm going to tap. Then I'm going to tap the microphone down by the space bar. Ruben, comma, new line. What a beautiful picture of you and Malia, period. I'm certain that you are extremely proud of her and loving the grandchildren she's brought into your life, period. So voice dictation is why it's so quick to send a card on your mobile phone. Then I can go grab my signature, which is this S right here, is all the signatures that Sylvia talked about. I'm going to assign it Donna. And I'm going to go select all. And I'm going to change the font with this A right here. And all of us have our personal favorites. When I'm doing a real short message, I use rock salt. And I'm going to change the color to purple. And then I'm going to hit save. And that's what the message looks like on the inside of the card. Now I notice it spelled her name wrong. So I would go back in and I would go over here and correct that spelling and then go back out. So there's the message on the inside of my card. Now here is the next. How did I do that? Did I do a 3-panel card by mistake? I must have. So I'm at the back panel now. And this is my business back panel, but this is a personal card. And so I don't really want to put my business back panel on it. And like Sylvia, I have a variety of them that I can use. I'm a humorist, so I have funny ones and serious ones and business ones. And I'm going to use this one right here that just says from my house to your house. And I'm going to say, click the airplane to say ready to send. And it gives us the same order screen that you saw when Sylvia went through that card that she did on the phone. The other thing that I'll show you very quickly is right down here at the bottom, cards, contacts. So when I go to the post office to mail something, I have my contact list right in my phone with all the mailing addresses. And when you create campaigns that I'm certain Sylvia will teach you how to do at a later time, you have access to all the campaigns that you've created right here on your phone. So there's my 2020 Mother's Day card. If I sent out a whole bunch of them the Thursday before Mother's Day, and if I wanted to pull that campaign card back up and send another one out today, very easy. I just click on the campaign, click send, put an address in, and it's off and running. So I use the mobile phone all the time for heartfelt cards as well as to send campaign cards. Anything else you want me to add to that, Sylvia?
No, I think that's brilliant. I love the flexibility of this system because for some people, their business is out on the road or, they're mobile. They're a lot more mobile. They're meeting people, or maybe they're not meeting people as much right now in this moment, but this is a fabulous way to get our cards out and to know that we can do it. I didn't actually, the card that you made that had the multiple pictures on the front, I've actually never done that on my mobile app. So that might be something I give it a go and check that out.
So I think that it's really easy. Once you send 2 or 3, I've sent a card at a stoplight before. So it's really easy to do.
Yeah, I love it for sure. So I'm wondering, we're about 5 minutes till 8. Is there, would there be any questions? This would be a good time that, watching this, did it bring up any questions for you? Is there something that you'd like to ask or know more about that or get more clarification about?
I see one question in the chat that says, how do you get your photos from your phone to your computer? And Sylvia answers, she does it by email. But another way to do it is to open a card, build your own card, put the first photo in, save, put the second photo in, save, put the third photo in, save. And then when you go to your computer, all of those photos are in your SendOutCards account. So if I have multiple photos that I want to get from my phone into my computer, I do it by adding them to a card in the mobile app.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't use that function very often, but yeah, that's probably even faster than emailing it. So that's a great alternative for sure. Yeah. Any final thoughts for you, Miss Donna?
No, I feel pretty complete. It's been fun to meet you guys, and I hope that you enjoy sending cards as much as Sylvia and I do. And what I know is it's addictive when you get the phone call from people that says how much they love it, or that they framed your card, or that they have every card you've ever sent them, or they showed it to their neighbor. When you get those kind of calls, it's going to make it addictive to send these cards.
Yeah, I really enjoy sharing it. Thank you guys for checking it out. I know that doing this is how we bless our life and our business and other people. And so it's just good all over the place. So I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you have specific questions or you want more information, oh, Donna has one more thing.
Tell them about your YouTube channel.
So I really put some time and energy into making some videos. I know sometimes people have questions, and I've kept a lot of them under 5 minutes, so you can just go in and find something to do. So if you YouTube and do a search for Send Out Cards Like a Ninja, you'll see the YouTube channel. And Donna, you have one too, and that's Deal Your Own Cards.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. Donna has a book.
Some of the videos are the same because we did them together. And then Sylvia's got some she did on her own, and I have a few that I did on my own as well.
Awesome. Very good. Well, if you have questions or you need more information, please let one of us know, and we'll be in touch.
And give us some feedback on what we could have covered that we didn't.
Oh, please.
So,
yeah. Feedback is always good. So,
yeah. Take
okay.
care, everybody. Have a good evening.
All right. Thanks.